Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of The Old Curiosity Shop. I'm Scott. Oh, the hawk is out tonight. I always remember the old folks saying that when I was a kid growing up. I don't know if they say it anywhere else in the country, but the hawk is out. That kind of means there's a blustery wind. It's usually chilly. It's not terribly chilly here today. But boy, I was chatting with Vintage Vinny a few hours ago, and he said, it's pouring and blustery over here where he is in Maryland. And I said, well, it's threatening here, but we don't have anything like that yet. Well, all I had to do was wait 2 hours. Thanks, Vinny, for sending it over. That's how I get my forecast. You see, I watch, I don't pay attention to the news. But whatever is happening where Will lives, Will's Ventures, Thrifting and Adventures, he's in Ohio, I think. Now I just have to wait a while. And then it hits Vinny in Maryland, and then it winds up here. Well, wherever you are and whatever the weather is tonight or whenever you're watching this, I trust you're doing well. I'm sipping out of my brown Anchor Hocking D-handled mug. And stop all this chit chat. We got a lot to do today. So let's put this down here on the floor, which is a mistake because I will forget that it's down there and I will trip on it and splash my coffee all over the place. All right, let's start off when your mouth goes in one direction and your brain goes in another. And we'll do that with these wonderful 1950s harp pieces here that you saw in the thrift shop the other day. Now, I was looking at them, there were two, and my mind immediately said, oh, they look like champagne flutes, yeah? Or Pilsners, you know. But what's difficult is when you're filming, you're looking through a tiny little camera lens, right? You're paying attention that you're not stepping on anybody or nobody is stepping on you. You're trying to look at something and talk unscripted. Your brain doesn't always see what your eyes see. That's not right. And you end up saying things that don't make sense. Of course, you can't drink out of anything with a ruffled top, and I know that. But I wasn't thinking vase. A couple people pointed it out that they were probably vases, and they are. I looked them up in my book, and they're vases. But at first, champagne flute, they're funny little vases, aren't they? Well, anyway, I bought two of them. And they're not listed yet, but they soon will be. All right, next example, when my brain went in one direction. Yes, you could chop ice in this, but it is a food chopper, and I actually did say in the video that it's an ice chopper, but probably for food. Now, the reason I said ice is ice choppers with this exact same blade configuration were made in the 1930s, and they went with the cocktail shakers. I have a few, I've seen them advertised, but they're usually much larger than this, and they certainly don't have the measurements on the side. So that's the reason why my brain went to ice crusher and instead of food chopper. Okay, so that's that. Anything else here that I need to straighten out? I don't think so, but oh my goodness, are you guys still freaking out over that dollhouse? I still cannot believe the condition of that thing. And that it survived? I'll tell you what, trust me, that thing is going to be preserved, not altered. I'm not repainting it, I'm not ripping out wallpaper and carpet and crown molding and remodeling. No. No. There will be no granite countertops and stainless steel appliances in that thing. I'm going to honor the person who made it and keep it as absolutely original as possible. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about it right now. It is still on the back of my truck. Now, don't worry. It's completely covered, and it can rain pretty hard, and it will be okay. It's just that it weighs about 70 pounds, and as you saw, it's huge. It's going to stay on the back of my truck for a little while. All right, let's do some updates. Remember this? Bottom of a candlestick. She's very deco, but she lost her candlestick top. And I've seen, tidbit trays, if you will, with bases similar to this. And I'm just going to give you an idea of something that I plan on doing. Here's an L.E. Smith green crackle uranium glass plate. I'm going to wind up doing something like that. Now, I will say, I'm not really a huge fan when people take things and glue them together that aren't supposed to be together. I'm making an exception in this case because we can't really do anything else with her. She's lost her candle top. I'm not going to restore this as a candle holder. So the question now is, what do you do with it? These L.E. Smith crackle plates and any other plate I might use are very common, and I think I'm combining two pieces that will look nice together and actually I'll be able to use. So that's a possibility, a plate like that. But a subscriber also suggested that maybe I use one of my stretch glass plates. I'm thinking about it. I've got this one beautiful green stretch glass plate with this wonderful circle right there in the bottom, almost perfect for this. Now, I haven't made up my mind yet, but that's a possibility as well. Although I know this plate is a little too big. I like the smaller plate, and the proportions on this might be just a little out of whack. So I might look for a smaller stretch glass plate. I just think this might be a little too big. But that just gives you an idea of what I plan on doing with this. It's already 7 minutes. Oh my goodness. All right, I'm going to try to go through all of this. I have some things to show you that are going to be up for sale in the old Curiosity shop. In fact, most of these things are already listed. But before I show you what's listed in the shop, I left my name and number at the house where that dollhouse came from. I said, if you find any furniture, you give me a buzz. Well, I got a buzz from them. We think we found some furniture. Can you come over? Yep. I jumped on the Market Frankfurt L. That's the train. Zipped over to West Philly because I didn't feel like driving. And picked up some furniture. I'm not going to show you all of it because it needs to be cleaned and most of it is not ready for you to see it yet. And they think there still might be more. This is really exciting. I'm going to show you two pieces. I'm going to start with the toilet. Can you see that? No, you can't see it because of, there we go, the lighting. Look at that. Okay, I got everything from the bathroom they had. And then they also had the wonderful late 20s green kitchen sink. Look at this, just the way the kitchen sinks were in that era. So to be able to actually put back in it some of the original furniture, oh my goodness. And listen, I could go on and on and on talking about it. That's not what this video is about, but we're going to talk some more about more of exactly when it was made, and a little bit more about what would be appropriate to put back in it if I can't find all the original pieces from the house. We'll see what happens. Okay, now let's do the thrift haul. Libby made these wonderful glasses. I have 4 of them. They have this neat snowflake pattern. So there's green and there's blue, and there's green and there's blue. So there's 4 of them. You can do your iced tea in there or what have you. I just have those 4. They came in other colors that you can collect, that you can, certainly not that difficult to find. Everybody had one of these little divided candy/nut dishes in pink or green glass in some type of a silver basket or aluminum or chrome basket. And they do pop out. You usually, I'm not going to pop it out, but I almost always find just the green basket that's been popped out of the little basket. The green glass that has come out of the basket. Sometimes they're marked Farber Brothers or Chrome Craft. There's a little oxidation on the metal, but it's not split. Sometimes this metal is split There's no damage on the lovely little candy dish, which could also be used for nuts or whatever you want on your table. Black olives. And glows under black light. Yep, got uranium in it. Speaking of uranium, here is a cookie jar / biscuit jar, and it's in the princess pattern, and it is also a 1930s hawking piece. Okay, it's got its original lid. The only chip on it is an inside rim chip right there. And of course that rim, you don't see it when it's tucked down inside of the cookie jar, or biscuit jar, or cracker jar. Princess is the name of the pattern, and it's a very popular one. You see a lot of this. Again, pardon me, you'll get a really nice glow under a black light with that one. Let me have a sip. You guys have a sip. I've got something in my throat. I don't know what it is. But we will press on. Okay, there's more uranium glass, so hold on. And there is a true piece of Vaseline glass. We're going to hold Vaseline up to uranium, and we're going to see the difference. Now, you know I'm always screaming, stop calling things uranium / Vaseline, all right? Because they're not the same thing. That's not Vaseline glass. That's not Vaseline glass. Here he is on his soapbox. That is Vaseline glass. You see the difference? There can be a hint of green, but when we look at this, next to this, now this is a very thin piece of glass, so that's not the best example. So let's hold up this cake tray here. If I don't, oh my goodness, I'm gonna break something. Okay, here's a green depression Cameo. See the ballerina? 10-inch cake plate. That's green and it's got uranium in it. That's got uranium in it too, and this will glow under a black light, but because it's yellow, it's Vaseline, and this is not. Okay, so uranium glass, or just green depression glass. Vaseline glass, they both have uranium. Remember the Venn diagram from fifth grade math, you know, the circles that overlap each other? All right, 10-inch Cameo cake plate, no problems with that, no chips, no cracks. Are you seeing it? I've got pictures on the, on the auction site. Okay, I've been finding a lot of these cake platforms. Usually it's the Jeanette sunflower, because that, as you know, is free. This piece, actually I haven't listed this yet. Maybe I'll have it listed by the time the video goes up. This is a little earlier than depression glass, and I should be able to tell you right off the bat, you know, Jefferson or Consolidated or whoever, but I'm going to have to look up this kind of a daisy and a button. I guess it's a daisy and a, sort of a daisy and a button pattern. It's a bread tray. It's an EAPG, Early American Pressed Glass piece. Really nice. This thing is not chipped. Little bit of roughness around the edges from where it was just, you know, taken out of the mold and not fire polished. It's not a fire polished piece. But it's a pretty bread tray, again, that glows beautifully. And I still have to look up the maker on this. And then we can get it listed. But I think everything else you're seeing is listed. Now this made me mad because I didn't realize until I got home, but sometimes it happens. You buy something and it was at an early morning flea market, still dark outside, and I could not see the damage. So we've got damage, but very nice pink candlestick holders. I really like this ruffled bottom, which is unusual. I haven't seen that before. Now they're not chipped anywhere, and they are pink. They might look crystal, but they're pink. This one is perfect. This one has a nice crack right through it. Now it's one of those cracks, I'm trying to get you to see it. It does go from here to here. See it in there? It's the kind of a crack that when you feel it, you don't feel anything. I'm not going to get cut. If you ping it, you don't hear anything that you're not supposed to hear. It's when something gets dinged up against something else and there's that inner shatter, that sort of inner crack, like the star crack on your windshield. So I put candles in here, shoved them in here, and they stood up fine, and this didn't seem like it was going to break. So I don't think we have to worry about that breaking off of there. It's just that crack is in there, and I can't do anything about it, but they're nice candlesticks anyway. Somewhat unusual, and they're in pink. I like that. We know probably the most popular breed of dog from, the early 30s into the 50s is the, well, you know who and you know why. There were several famous Scotties. Mostly we think of the Scotties that FDR had. This is very chunky and it's very square, boxy. It's got an Art Deco influence to it. Hard to say when this was made. Probably a high school wood shop project, or somebody made this in their basement on the weekend. I don't believe this was store-bought. It's not a bookend. It's just a objet d'art, I guess. And it's got mahogany here, and then a lighter sort of fruit wood in the middle. And the person who built it did a very good job on it. There are a lot of Scotty dog collectors out there. And so whoever put this together, thought they did a good job. Dating it, we could be anywhere from 1935 to 1955. Really, there's a whole period of about 20 years when this was such a popular breed of dog. And you know that he shows up everywhere. He shows up everywhere. Christmas cards of that era. There's a Scotty on almost every one. You know this, right? I see Scotties all the time in that era. I don't know what was supposed to go in this. And it says on it, it says, Deco, I can't read it because can you see it? Well, if I hold still. It's a shaker, a kitchen shaker, but with pine needles on it? I mean, what would you put in this? Ground up pine cones on your toast? I really don't know why maybe it's just a decorative motif on the top and they don't really care what you put in it. But I thought it was neat and I hadn't ever seen it before. Vitroc was a kind of a glass made by Hocking, similar to similar to Platinite by Hazel Atlas. We see these a lot. It's a grease jar. I love the Deco staircase flower pots. Now this simply had a lid that sat on the top, which was also a Vitroc lid. So in other words, this is not threaded. You've got to have that lid. Those lids are missing frequently. But if you like 1930s and 40s kitchen things, what a wonderful thing to just tuck your sweet and low packets into, or teaspoons or whatever you want to do with that. This I haven't listed yet because I haven't looked the pattern up yet, but it's bound to be Falstoria or Cambridge. And of course there were so many patterns, and I don't have all of those memorized when we get into the Elegant Depression glass. So maybe one of you has that pattern memorized, or you want to look it up. It might be Basket of Flowers or something like that. There is a basket of flowers. You see that right in the design? So there's kind of a Baroque looking handle on the top of that. I do often find these three-part divided dishes, and they were sort of candy and nut dishes. A lot of times the lids are gone, but here we've got it. And it's all original and it sits right there. The issue is I've got to look up that pattern, which I've not done yet. Okay, so We'll get that listed as soon as I tell you what the pattern is. And then, that was the wind whistling, not my hearing aids. Did you hear that? I don't know if you heard that or not. No, I don't have hearing aids yet, but I soon will. It runs in my family, I'll tell you that. My father had hearing aids in his early 50s, and we all lose our hearing in my family. That's not a cheese and cracker set, it's a mayonnaise set. You know that. There's the bowl. There's the under plate with the rim to hold the bowl. Only thing missing is the ladle. They always came under plate, bowl, and ladle. In the days when mayonnaise, salad dressing, that kind of thing was served very elegantly at the table and was actually spooned out rather than smeared on a sandwich with a knife the way we do today. So it's crystal, and it has a lovely gold encrusted pattern on it. There are lots of possibilities with that. I'm getting penned in here. I'm putting everything on the floor. Bad idea to do that. Okay, and then the last thing we'll look at today, so that I don't take up any more than 25 minutes of your time. I haven't listed this yet because I'm still not sure what it is. I've got a feeling it might be a piece of Blanco, but I don't know that for certain, so I might need some help. Blue crackle glass. Now let's talk for a minute about why I might think it's Blanco. It has a lot of Blanco characteristics, and I know there are Blanco websites, and probably 10 minutes after I turn this video off, I'll find it. It has a rough pontil. Almost always Blanco has rough pontils. A very rough one. I mean, you almost cut yourself on that, okay, where it's broken off the rod. That's a rough pontil right there. We also see the inconsistencies of hand-blown glass with no mold marks. It's not signed. Blanco usually isn't. Yes, you'll find signed pieces of Blanco glass, but a very small percentage of Blanco is actually signed. It's thick. Blanco glass is thick glass. It's not delicate glass. The rims are usually thick, you know, and it's a very thick rim. I'm not good with measurement, I can't really tell you, but you just, you know, when you feel this, and then you rub your hands over, oh, I forgot that. And then you rub your hands over a finely etched piece of elegant depression glass, you feel the difference. This is a thick, beefy rim here, as well as here. And finally, the rims are beautifully smooth. They may be slightly uneven because the glass is blown, but Blanco did fire polish their rims. So it went back into the flame, and there was a fire polish done on the rims. So rough pontil, not signed, don't expect it to be. Thick glass, fire polished rims, and hand blown. If it's not Blanco, it's got to be one of the West Virginia companies, and I'm not sure. Okay, so maybe you don't have too much going on tonight, and you might be able to look it up and let me know. If you do, if you find a reference, can you let me know what your reference is? That's really helpful. I know there's a fantastic Blanco website. I just haven't had a chance to go and look it up yet. I stay so busy. Researching is fun, but it's difficult to do it sometimes. So that's not listed yet. I think it's a beautiful piece. I don't know who made it. And finally, the last thing, don't know who made this either. Tiffin made vases like this. But when I go through, so did Payden City. And when I go through my Elegant Depression glass book, this is another one of those forms that everybody had a slight variation on it, like the candy jar on the pedestal that almost looks apothecary. Everybody made that. but probably either a Tiffin or a Paden City. It's a nice 10-inch vase with no water damage, no water cloudiness. It's got a paneled optic design with my fingerprints all over it. A nice ruffled top here, as you can see. And blown in a mold. It glows beautifully under black light. And again, we're talking about a Depression glass era vase. This is green uranium glass, and it's nice. Okay, I think that's it for today. Oh, by gosh, by golly, I hope that everybody has a wonderful weekend no matter where you are. And I want to thank you for watching. And if you're not a subscriber, I would love it if you would consider being a subscriber. And you know what to do with the notification button and all that stuff so you never miss anything. Oh my goodness, there are going to be exciting videos coming up with that dollhouse. I have not forgotten that lamp. I know you're waiting on the edge of your seats to see what I'm going to do with that lamp, and I've got some fabric updates with that lamp. Excuse me. So I'm working on that too. But right now, that's going to do it. I'm Scott. If you're going trick-or-treating this weekend, be safe and have fun. Wait for the cat. So long for now.